Hi guys, welcome to this session, and we'll be taking you through on how to work with SQL using NetBeans. So we'll be using two programming languages, which is SQL and Java. So the first thing we'll want to start with is by downloading the drivers that make sure that NetBeans will be able to communicate with SQL. So the drivers are available, they are directly from Microsoft to support Java. So you'll need to look for them, they are called JDBC. So once you get the JDBC, make sure you go to their download page and download the drivers themselves. So you can download them as a zip file. My drivers are now downloaded. If I go to my download page, you will see that the drivers are here. I'm going to just unzip this file so that it shows me the contents inside here. So these are the drivers here. The drivers are these jar files. So if you check the extension, these are executable jar files. These are the drivers that will allow us to make sure that NetBeans will be able to communicate with SQL. So picture the drivers just like any other driver, wherein we were still using those bigger desktops. In the olden ages, you will buy a computer and then it will come with without drivers, and you need to download drivers maybe for the speaker, for the Wi-Fi, for any new device that will have to install, like printers. You needed to get the drivers. So even here we want to utilize database on NetBeans, so we need the drivers. These are the drivers. So once we got the drivers, we don't need the use of Google Chrome anymore. We are going to start on SQL. So on SQL, I'm going to create my own database. Mind you, I have connected here to this database. So I'm going to create my own database here. And I will call this lesson_db. Okay, lesson for db. The database has been created. So if I go look for that database, I should find it now. There's a lot of database on this server. So I will look for it somewhere here. Here it is. So this is the database that I've just created. So if I expand to it, I'm going to just create a very simple table for users. So I will have the user ID there, which will be of type integer, and lesson on creating this database and creating a table have already been uploaded. So you can watch previous videos to check how you can create a database, how you can create tables, how you create primary keys, and set it up as an identity. So I'm just going to set this as an identity, change this no to become yes. Right, so you can click here to change the no to become yes, leave it as 11. Come here and say first name, last name, let's just leave those two. So those two are enough, first name and last name. Just gonna change the variable type there, or the data type to be of varchar, right? And maybe 50 is too much for first name. Let me give it 25. The same applies to the last name, 25. Press save. I'm gonna call this table users. Okay. Press OK. So I now have a table here called users. As you can see, DBO users, and I can go on and view using select all to see what is inside this table. It will reveal to me that I basically have nothing in this table. So I want to work on a new query to insert values, just to show you that the database works. So I'm going to insert values now. So I'll say use the name of my database, which is lesson DB, insert into users, and I'll mention the name of the columns here. Now the name of the columns is the first one, it's user ID, and it will be generated. I might as well start on first name and go to the last one, which is the last name. Then I'll deal with values now. So the values, both of them will be of type string. Just gonna put my name and my last name. There we go. So this is basically the query to insert value into that table. If I execute this query, you can see it says one row has been affected. And if I navigate back to select top 1000 and I say execute, you can see that it has generated user ID number 1 with the following values as you saw on the screen. So we will need this query later on. So let's just leave it like this. Okay, so we know our table works, our database, it's fine. Let's go now and make sure that those drivers that we download initially, right, the drivers we downloaded initially here and extracted them, they are now sitting here. Let's go make sure that we're able to locate where they are and upload them into our project. So we're going to first create our project, a Java project, and we'll also call this lesson underscore DB so that we don't have different names. Okay, my project in Java has been created. The next thing I need to do, I need to go to libraries and say add a jar folder, right? And then I have to go look for that file somewhere else. So it's found under users and it's under downloads, and you can see the actual folder is this one. If I open the folder as I showed you from the other side, you can select any of this Java version we have here. So I would prefer to select JRE8, right? So the navigation we're doing there was to arrive at this file. So this file is equivalent to the one we're selecting right now, this one. Others like install, license, and what will not be shown because now we are looking for a file which have got an extension of executable Java file. So I will click this one, press open. Then you will see under library, you will have this one file that has been added. Right, this is the driver itself. On top of that, you also need to go to services and you need to right click on database and say new connection. From there, you need to select underneath here, you need to go to new driver and say add a driver. So you're also going to add the same driver sitting in the same location. So you verify where it's sitting. Mine is sitting under my name, downloads, navigate to that extracted folder, still select the same driver, press OK. There we go. Then I will press next here. Now this stage here, it's this stage here where if you're trying to connect to SQL, it brings you this. When you open it to SQL, it takes you to this stage. So this is the stage that now Java is requesting you to type. So I'm just going to copy, to avoid mistake, I'm going to copy the server name and paste it under host. Paste under host. There is no need to specify the port. I'll go to the database name and do the same. I'm avoiding to make mistake. The database name is this one. So So I'll pretend as if I want to rename it, but only copy the name, take it this side, paste it, and then I will leave the instance name as it is, and I will go to the username. The username is still the same as you saw this side when we were trying to log in. This will be the username. And the password of how you log in, right? So this will be the actual password. So I'm just going to press remember password here so that I don't have to always enter the password all the time. So I'm going to test connection right now. And as you can see, it now says connection succeeded. Then I'll press finish. So what it has done now, it has created what you call a connection string for me here. This will be the connection string that I will use to communicate from NetBean to the SQL server. Okay, so basically in terms of adding the driver, we are done for now. What is left now is for us to write something in our program that will allow us to navigate. So what I'm going to do now is come to the actual project, go back to the project, and right here when we're here, I'm now just going to right click here and say new, and I want to work with JFrame. So I'm just going to say JFrame and I call it register. Then I'll press finish. It's going to create a JFrame for me, which will appear like this, and I'm going to drop a button, I'm going to drop a label, and I'm going to drop a text field. So I'm going to start utilizing the properties to change what is written there, like JLabel1. I'm going to change here and say we're looking for first name, and I will come to the responsive answer for text name. I will remove everything there so that it's empty, expand this so that it's big enough for us to see. Also on this one I need to change the variable name, so I'll right click and say change variable name. I'll call this first underscore name. Right, so this becomes my variable name, first underscore name. Press OK. Right, so I can do the same and say I want another label and I also want another text field. So with the other label, remember we only have two fields there in our database. The last one is last name, and also here I'm going to remove the text of this one to nothing, and also expand it so that it's bigger, resize it so that it accommodates to look like the other one. So I'm going to move it closer to this one. Don't forget the other one we changed the variable name, so right click, change variable name. This one we're going to call it last underscore name. Right, maybe to show that it's a text field I can say TF. This is a text field, right? It's not just any variable. I will also change this one, first name underscore TF, just to show that it's a text field. Right, next thing we have is a button. So this button will be the one we press to save the data. So I need to change the information which is inside, just to say and call it save. Right, and also right click here and say change variable name. I'm going to call this save BTN. BTN standing in short for button. So basically this is what I want on my application. I don't want a lot of things. This is what I want. So if I want to view this, right, and it will show me exactly what I'm looking for. Let's just review and see how it looks like so far. So I'm going to right click on the register JFrameFrom and say run. So I'm running an independent file here. You will then see the results of this. So it's running here. This is the results. So this is the results of what we have just done now. So we're hoping the user will be able to come, enter their first name, enter their last name, press save. Information will have been saved into our database. Okay, so let's get into that now.